Hey guys, my name is Dyllan and I'm the quarterback for the Lakers. If you guys follow us, we're doing with us here, so you might know me from that. I want to tell you my story tonight and how that can relate to you as high schoolers, some of you as parents, anybody going through their life, and yeah, we're going to get to it. So I grew up in the church, knew who Jesus was, knew that he died on the cross for me, and I knew, it was your average Sunday Christian. Go to church, feel good, and then Monday through Saturday, just doing what I wanted to do. And my walk really started my junior year, you could say. Beginning of that, just started living for myself, basically, worshiping the ground that I walked on. Kind of in my head, knew everything that I was doing was wrong. Knew that there was an eternal place and that I needed to be living for that, but just kind of walked away and basically just kind of did what I wanted to do. And that led me down a very, very dark place. I started partying a lot, started doing a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, doing the high school thing, doing what was cool. And felt great, felt cool, and pretty soon this pit just started to grow in my stomach. Promises that I had thought to myself, as Tegan said, I put my hope in not God alone, but in other people and things in this world that just aren't going to satisfy. And basically that led me to a very, very depressed person. And for about 6 months, from about February last year to about June, I was very, very alone, felt alone. No one was with me, didn't talk to anybody, very happy-go-lucky kid. Most of the time, I had a hard time smiling, just was not my normal self. And knew the whole time where I should be going, and I knew the whole time that, Dyllan, you know the reason for this, you know why you're feeling like this. And I continued to be scared to face God. I was like, God, I feel you, I know you're calling me, but I just don't feel worthy to stand in front of you. And so instead of opening my Bible, which is what I felt, just going to church on Sunday, I would go out every night and I would, the pit would grow deeper in my stomach and I would just, satisfy myself. And, I was doing that. Summer started and high school kids, you know how summer goes. No school, parents kind of let you do whatever you want, and that's what we did. And me and my friends, we were, in that crowd for sure. And so that's where I was in my life. I was very broken as a person, just alone, felt no love in my life at all, and my actions reflected it. And then one day I got a text from Kenneth Lumley, he's the pastor at Osage Hills, and he invited me to a church retreat in Tennessee. This was June last year. And so he's like, somebody dropped out. It's free. It's a week away from home. You get to see the world. It's going to be fun. And just come along if you want to. And so I packed my bags, got off work. And next thing I know, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee. And, that's CIY, I guess. And it was a life-changing experience. But it was a week-long thing. But I remember thinking at the beginning of the week, I shouldn't be here. Dyllan, you know where you've been. You know where you were a couple days ago. Don't forget that where you were on Friday night. And I'm sitting in a big room with people who love Jesus, and we're singing songs, and we're doing, we're learning, I guess you could say. And I remember thinking that. God, I can't face you right now. I need to go. I just can't do this. And I feel like a lot of us in our lives at different times, at different places, that's where we are. We think to ourselves, we might have walked a little too far this time. Or, God, I can't do this anymore. And that's where I was. And then, it was second night there, something like that. I just remember hearing that Christ came to rescue people like me, people who walk away, people who forsake him, and he came and he died knowing fully well that I would do that, and he wanted me anyway. And I remember the third night, talking to my youth leader, Steven, just pulling him outside. It's like 11:30. We've got 4 hours of sleep, basically the whole trip, it felt like, and we're all exhausted. But we dragged him out to the curb outside our room, and we just sat and talked for hours, it felt like. And I just got a lot of stuff off my chest, and he could relate to some of the things that I was going through, and that I've gone through, and I felt, ashamed of. And I kind of had this new feeling in my soul that, God knows where I've been, and He still loves me. He still died for me. And so, CIY that year, this summer, I just started living for God, basically. And came back home, started telling everybody in my life. I got baptized that Sunday after we came back. And, just started telling everybody about this new me, this new Dyllan. And I would love to sit here and tell you that it's been all roses and flowers those last 3 months, but as we all know, spiritual highs fall. And basically what happened to me was a week after I got back, I broke my arm, quarterback, broke my arm, so went to the doctor and was told, you're probably not going to be able to play football this year, probably not basketball too, maybe we'll see. And sports were my life, just growing up. You all live in Camden, most of you I think, and you know how football goes here. It's life, it's everything. We all live for Friday night. And so for my senior year, I was like, man, I know this is a test. I know this is, God's trying me right now. He's trying to say, do you trust me? This is the first step. And I would love to tell you that I did trust Him, but I did not. And I got angry. I got sad. I was 6 weeks. I was supposed to go back to the doctor. And for those 6 weeks, man, I just backslid so much. And it snowballed from there. Started going back to the same things on Friday night, Saturday night, same people that I used to roll with, having fun doing it. And basically, 6 weeks later, go back to the doctor. He says, hey, you're good to play. It healed right, put on a cast, but you're good to go. And, I remember thinking to myself, man, I couldn't have faith for 6 weeks. I couldn't trust you for 6 weeks, man, what is wrong with me? I claim to love you, but I didn't trust you at all. Just kind of got scared and ran away. And I remember that was a week or two before our first game. And I was scared to come back. I was scared. I was like, man, Dyllan, you don't deserve this. And I remember our first game, we won. It was great. We had a good game. But I remember thinking to myself, God, this isn't the same without you. It's not as fun without you. I've got this, team who looks up to me, and we're going to win this year. But it's not the same if I don't have you. And I remember thinking all that week, Dyllan, we need to go. We need to go. You need to turn to. And before our second game against West Plains, on the bus ride up there, just had this eye-opening experience. And it's like, man, He loves me no matter what I do. He knew when He died that I was going to accept it and then walk away. And He knows I'll do it again today, tomorrow, the next day, over and over again. And He loves me no matter what. And so from then on out, from then I've just kind of, no matter how much I backslide in my life, no matter where I turn to, I know that I should get up after I fall and keep walking, keep pressing on. And I'd like to share some scripture with you guys tonight. I'm going to open up to Luke chapter 15. Some of you might know this story. It's the prodigal son. And I'm going to start in verse 11. Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. And so I can relate to that, and in the fact that, I kind of did what I wanted to do. That's what this younger son was doing. He kind of said, Dad, I'm supposed to stay here with you, and I'm supposed to, work for you, but, I kind of want to just take my money and go. And that's why I felt like I was doing. And it reads on. He says, after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to the citizens of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. So basically, after he kind of ran out of, in the story it's money, but for me I feel like I kind of ran out of joy in the things I was doing. I ran out of pleasure and everything that I thought was going to satisfy me. And it says that he went to feed pigs. Now this was a story, Jesus lived 2,000 years ago, so this story could have been from a long time ago, but I promise you that no one in history was feeding pigs a good thing to do. It's gross. And so, and he longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. And so he's empty basically. He has nothing. He can't even eat what the pigs are eating right now. And so he feels alone, he feels sad. He's going nowhere in life. And so he thinks to himself and says, when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired men have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired men. So he got up and went to his father. And so basically he's like saying, Dad, I don't even deserve you to call me son. I deserve to just, be a slave, sleep in the dirt for the rest of my life, but I just want to come home, basically. And so you're thinking his dad's going to be like, yeah, you're right. You can go work for me for the rest of your life. You're not my son anymore. I don't love you anymore, but, you can come home for, a little bit. But it says, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. And he ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. That's pretty powerful stuff. So the Father, Jesus talked in parables. And so the Father in this story is our Father in heaven. And so when we run away like that, and when we come back, we're thinking, God, so, you hate me now, throw down a lightning bolt. He doesn't do that. He runs with you with compassion and with love, and he hugs you and he kisses you, and he's so happy just to see you that you're back home again. And it says, the son said to him, Father, oh, no, that's not where it was. Oh yeah, it is. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you, and I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found. And so they began to celebrate. So in those days, being clothed was a big thing. If you had a robe, you were pretty hip. Jewelry is very cool. Kings wore jewelry, and the ground was not concrete and pavement back then, so it was kind of rocks, and it would hurt your feet to walk. And so instead of saying, yeah, you can be my servant, you can live in the dirt, he clothes him. He calls him son again. He gets the best of the best, the fattened calf. So he's getting the best McDonald's out there. And he's saying, basically, let's celebrate. I'm just so happy you're home. You were gone, and now you're back. And he's saying, I'm just so happy. Let's tell everybody. And I think that relates to a lot of everyone in here, actually, at one point in time. High schoolers, that definitely relates to us. I'm the worst of the worst, and let me tell you that I feel ashamed of everything I've done. But my Heavenly Father came and died for me on a cross, bruised, bloodied, and naked in the cold. And he was thinking of me, and for you, he was thinking of you that whole time. And he knew the whole time that you were going to walk away over and over and over again after yourself, after this and that. He knew it, and as soon as you stand up and you say, God, I'm sorry, I'm coming back home, he celebrates. And then what do we do the next day? Oh, we fall again. We chase after this and that and the other thing again and again and again every day of our lives. And what does he just sit there and say? He says, oh, I don't hate you. I don't condemn you. I love you. I died for you. And don't you ever forget that. So I just want to come share that with you guys, that he's there and he's just waiting for you to turn around. Yeah, thank you.